Rap is performance art. It came out of performance art. And the fact that it was recorded was the second step. So we were recorded, now we had to go find the performance aspect of it. So being taught by guys like Dougie Fresh and also Houdini, they taught us how to find ourselves in ourselves.
And does the reaction of the audience when the crowd goes wild, does that influence where you take new songs?
Yeah. Well, 1987 was great training ground because we were running on a rhythm that was 1986 in both rhyme style and also in music tempo. And we noticed, though, when you go to an audience that the crowd is already amped up. This is why bands play faster. And we would pitch up the records. And I said, well, since we're pitching it up, when we start making new records, we're going to have to pitch it up when we make them. And hence, Bring the Noise, which was for the Less Than Zero soundtrack in November of '87. And that was 109 beats per minute, which was off the charts at that particular time. That's moving like that. It's moving. So we had to figure out ways to move with it.
Well, we've got to keep moving, so I want to talk about Rebel Without a Pause.
Yeah.
And I get a sense there's a sharpening of your lyrical focus.
Well,
and the sound.
Rebel Without a Pause was a sharpening of lyrical focus, especially after we released our first album. See, because we were involved in the album-oriented hip-hop and rap releases, and the rap world was still on singles, they were more immediate. So, like stealth situations like Cold Chillin', Eric B. and Rakim with Zakiya and later on Fourth and Broadway, they were dealing on rap terms in the rap market. So if they felt something 2 weeks ago, they were releasing 2 weeks later, and boom, they was on an immediate moment on the streets. Going through the CBS system, things got kind of stayed. If you released something, it was months after you recorded it, which worked well for Bruce Springsteen, but it didn't work for Public Enemy. So we had to figure out how can we get something on the B-sides, which were always available as promotion. So we had to sneak the B-side, which didn't have any sort of other, reference point other than it came out of the clear blue sky as a street theme. Nothing you can put to it because you couldn't go pick it up on the album, and which caught a lot of flack because, they wanted one thing to lead to another. It was business, and we were like, well, the business of hip hop and rap are intangibles. We have to have something hot in the streets. And KRS-One and Rakim changed the whole game on how you were supposed to rhyme. From '86, which was Raising Hell and the Beastie Boys and the Run DMC vernacular, to 1987 post Rakim with Eric B. and KRS-One with Boogie Down Productions and Scott LaRock, changed the whole way that MCs rhyme. KRS-One with poetry in South Bronx, Eric B. and Rakim with Eric B. for President, My Melody, and then I Know You Got Soul. Myself and Hank went to this college on Long Island, and I Know You Got Soul came out. DJ played it 50 times. We shared the same management company, so we always would hear like what Eric B. and Rakim is gonna come out with, what Rakim and Eric B. is gonna come out with. And they would come out with the greatest, whatever you wanna call it in life, And that sharpened our focus on how to go about it in our way. We couldn't copy Rakim, we couldn't copy KRS-One. We had to find our own zone and hone in. So a lot of James Brown and James Brown styles we knew that we could do, but also we could get crazy with the noise and ride it. And most of all, with our voices, myself and Flavor, be able to cut through and be heard. That was very important. We didn't have normal voices.
So rap is exploding in popularity. How did that affect your writing?
I knew that every line would actually be picked apart and combed on that one, which was the first time a rap record was examined so tight. Fear of a Black Planet had a parental advisory sticker on it. I think because it had the word black on the cover, or fear and black,
Was that a good thing? I remember certainly...
I didn't dig it. I didn't want no sticker on the cover of Fear of a Black Planet.
It made us want to buy it more, though. As kids,
I wasn't in the emotional, area of just saying, well, because you want to go and buy it because of the sticker. Yeah, it's like fake to me. I want you to buy it because this will bust your face, you know, when you're listening to it. It's going to be the best, you know, not because it has a stick on it. I just didn't think that was up to me.
Trouble on my mind, refuse to lose. Hey, here's your ticket. Yo, hear the drummer get wicked. To prove to you to put back the black attack. So I sat and jacked his back. Yo, I'm ready to mic it. Come on, y'all. Hear my favorite Tinsum Rolo. Never be a partner like Nico Solo. Laser Anastasia Major. Ways to blaze your brain and train ya. The way I'm living forgiving, what I'm giving up. X on the flex, hit me now. I don't know about later. As for now, I know how to avoid the paranoid. Man, I've had it up to here. I'll wear I'm going in fear. Rhetoric, sand, and red, just a bit ago. I'm not critical, sign a hard rhymer. Work to keep getting jerked, change some ways. And way back in the better days, raw metaphysically bold, now follow the code. Still drop the load, never question what I am, God knows. Cause it's coming from the heart. What I got, better get some, get on up. Hustler of culture, snake bitten, bitch spit in the face, But the rhyme keep fitting, respect's been given, how's it living? Now I can't protect a paid off defect. Check the record and record, intentional wreck. Playing off of some intellect. Made the call, took the fall, broke the laws. Not my fault that it fall off. Known as fair square throughout my years. So I growl at the liver foul. Black to the bone, my home is your home. Welcome to the Terrordome. Come on down. Come on down. Welcome to the Terrordome. Come on. Dip. Come on. Can you get down? Get down. Welcome to the Terrordome. Ladies and gentlemen, would you join me, please, in welcoming in? This week to speak and blame somebody else. When you destroy yourself, first nothing worse than a mother's pain of a son slain and busy hurt. Can't wait for the state, decide the fate. So this jam I dedicate. Places with the races, faces. Example, one of many places. The Greek, weak in speech, I speak. For my lesson, learn to deny. I don't smile on a line to fire, go wild. Buzz on bass and drums, even violent. What you do, get your head ready instead of getting physically sweaty. When like a man, I put it down the plan. Give you something that you never had. Controlling, fear of high rolling. God bless your soul and keep living. Never alive, kicking it loud, kicking it loud. Blank game, intellectual, Vietnam. Move as a team, never move alone. Welcome to the Terrordome. Welcome to the Terrordome.
So tell me, what was the seminal music for you when you were a kid?
Seminal music for me, James Brown. Stevie Wonder, Motown, Stax, Atlantic, some jazz. These people felt like relatives in the house when they were played on the record player. My mom's played a lot of Motown, Stax, Atlantic, so all the entertainers and singers with that was, you know, Gold and Bond, and also people like Dinah Washington, you know, people like that. My father's a sports fan, so music was rather quite casual. So he was part of the Columbia Jazz Record Club, so we'd just have records and once in a while throw those on. But the pictures and the 12-inch artwork sleeves were just awesome. Jimmy Smith and people like that. So it was sight and sound to me. It was about looking at the jackets in sight and then hear them played on the record player.
So that was something very natural for you then, jumping forward when you designed the crosshairs for PE. It was always the visuals and the sound that went to
Yeah, always visuals for me. It was never any appeal for a bald record of noise coming out of it. Never. You know, and the more that I saw an album jacket and cover from the ages of 0, and that's 1960, the better off it was for me.
Let's talk some more about James Brown, because James Brown would become a very important figure in the creation and of some of the sounds that you went on to make.
Born in 1960, the timeline of James Brown, especially at his hottest soul, funk, was actually the first 15 years of my life. So Papa got a brand new bag in 65. Say It Loud, I'm Black and I'm Proud, which significantly told us that we were no longer Negro, which is on my birth certificate. We were no longer colored, which we were calling ourselves as black people for a few years. But black was beautiful, and after 68, Say It Loud, I'm Black and I'm Proud also had, I remember having little kids in the song doing the vocals. So it resonated to us as little kids. Obviously, you know, that, along with Sly and the Family Stone, Aretha Franklin, songs from the late 60s and the early 70s, you know, politicized, you know, us and my surroundings. So James Brown was not just a grab into the funk batch, but it was also just like a grab into your soul and your get up, stand up, proud to be. You know, it linked into all other types of music, be it what Uncle George Clinton was doing, you know, free your ass, your mind will follow. And then also, you know, people like Bob Marley, get up, stand up.
So, and in terms of Motown, did you feel that, were you aware that they were expressing the feelings of real people in these songs?
Yes, Motown records express the sights, sounds, feelings of real people. Like I said, when they were played inside my household, they were accepted in like relatives. That was big. If somebody's gonna play you throughout the house, it's cool for the whole family to lock in.
So when did you first start to become aware of the great tradition of folk protest songs that had come before?
Well, I was aware of great folk songs as early as 3 or 4 years old because Peter, Paul, and Mary were big. And Puff the Magic Dragon was a song that we sang in kindergarten. Didn't know about it all the way, but Peter, Paul, and Mary, later on the Bob Dylan songs that were covered by many artists up into 9 to 10 years, you know, Simon and Garfunkel, Buffalo Springfield songs that were floating around. These songs were big pop hits. When I heard Stevie Wonder sing Blowing in the Wind, I didn't know that was a Bob Dylan song. We thought it was a Stevie Wonder song in the household. So it was that type of thing that made us pay attention later on to the beauty of songwriting.
Tell me about the importance of the message and Melly Mel to you.
Melly Mel, 1983, the message comes out. It was a shift in rhythm. It actually was slow, it was funky, but it was laced with words from probably one of the greatest wordsmiths ever, and that's Melly Mel. The difference between Melly Mel and the Furious Five and everybody else was just this wide, because they were just so on top of the game, and Melly Mel was so heard and so powerful and so exact. And with Grandmaster Flash, they never made mistakes. The pioneers made very few mistakes. And when the message came out, it was a shift, but the quality was still right here. When you close your eyes and listen to the message, you're listening to words come to life.
And tell me, how important were Run DMC to you at this stage?
Oh man, Run DMC, we interviewed them in their first interviews coming to WBAU. And so we watched every move that they made. And when they wanted to bring us in to that world, we wanted to do our own thing, so we kind of called it the Great Surrender, because we're gonna, okay, instead of beating you guys, we're gonna join you guys. But it was a thing where they paved the road for Public Enemy. They paved the road for the Beastie Boys. We were on the Beastie Boys' first tour, and they showed the way that albums should be made. And they really were the first group that came along with King of Rock, and also especially my favorite record of all time, Raising Hell, or how rap albums should be made. I don't think there's a better rap album to this day that beats out Raising Hell.
Can we jump forward and can you tell me about Harder Than You Think?
We came up with this is one of the things, you know, usually we work on things and there's no timetable. This was a situation where Gary came up with the track, I came up with this theme. They were like two separate, you know, working entities. We got together in the studio, and I swear he'll tell you, we got together in the studio and prepared, you know, to do a session and figure out now, you know, we got the good vibe about this record, so we're willing to kind of like figure out and grind our way to making this thing great, because we got a great vibe about it. It's I like, man, boom, I wrote to it, bam, I just fit one thing into another. Went in the recording studio, 2 takes. I'm like, we're looking at each other like, dude, that came together a little bit too easy. And it was just like, boom. It was released in 2007, and we always had it in our set. It was just a fun flow and stop and go situation to do. And it always was like a mainstay. It was a great thing to perform. And then the powers that be, you know, the licensing supervisors of the Paralympics in London thought that, you know, this was a great, you know, Public Enemy record to you know, have represent, you know, what was going down. And it's a superhero record. And, you know, I knew that the record had something when Flavor's youngest son said, I like that. And every time I think of the record, I think of his son liking that Public Enemy record at the time where, you know, he liked, you know, everybody else. But say, I like that, well, you know, it's time to leave you a preview so you too could, you know, and that third verse in there. And I was like, oh, you like that, huh? He said, yeah, I like to say that again. I'm like, well, if this 12-year-old kid likes it, then we got something here.
Just like that. Rolling Stones of the rap game, not bragging. Lips bigger than Jagger, not sagging. Spell it backwards, I'ma leave it at that. They ain't got nothing to do with rap. Hey, check the facts, expose those cats who pose as heroes and take advantage of blacks. Your government's gangsters, so cut the crap. There's a war going on, so where y'all at? Fight the power of great responsibility. F the police, but who's stopping you for killing me? It's as a fiasco, loop by PE. It's I instead of we believe in TV. Hit switches, this new thing about snitches. Watch the masses move as the masses switches. System distant, but barely mister. My soul intention to save my brothers and sisters. Come on, y'all. Just like that. Just like what? Just like that. Just like what? Just like that. It's harder than you think. Come on. Everybody do that finger pop thing. Soul just like stacks. Making everybody. Screaming gangster 20 years later. Of course it thoughts while conscience faded. New generation believing them fables. Gangsta boogie on 2 turntables. Show no love so it's easy to hate it. Desecrated while the coroner waited. Any given Sunday, now where y'all rated? With slavery, lynching, and drugs infiltrated. I like that y'all, Chucky, baby. Keep coming back, living life like I'm crazy. Keep it moving, rising to the top. Gun fresh, keep living, you don't stop. Revolution means change, don't look at me strange. I can't repeat what other rappers be saying. You don't stand up for something, you fall for anything. All you think is a beautiful thing, come on, yeah. Just like that. Just like that. Just like that. Just like that. Soul clap. Or people just clapping their hands. Or that snap. Just like that. So it's time to leave you a preview so you too can review what we do. 30 years in this business, how you sell soul, gee whiz, that's right, bear witness. Thank you for letting us be ourselves. Don't mind if I repeat myself. Keep them gangster rhymes on the shelf, because these rhymes here be good for your health. Live, love life like you just don't care. 5,000 leaders never scared. Bring the noises the moment they fed. Get up, it's a beautiful idea. That's right, y'all, throw your hands in the air. That's right, like you just don't care. You talk about Public Enemy, it's 30 years, that's right, y'all. Bear witness, come on, y'all. Just like what? Just like that? Just like what? Just like that? Just like that? Just like that? Just like that? It's harder than you think. This is harder than you think. Just like that.
So can you talk me through your songwriting process? Is there a particular time and place you like to write?
I get my songwriting ideas writing on the road. The road is like my car, my vehicle is the pen, and I look at the road, especially when it's black, as a pad. And that's where the ideas are at. And especially if I drive alongside water, ideas roll through that pen and the pad, and I've developed a style over the years to write in the passenger seat without looking. You gotta look at the road. So I can do this, and that's how I've written out. The problem is when I stop and I want to read it over, and I got good handwriting. What does it look like? But I wrote Bring the Noise, I wrote Terrordome, all in the passenger seat with nobody's lap in it. But cars are, if I'm going to be in the car on a long drive, ideas are going to flow.
Would you put yourself in a situation where you'd stay in the car for longer because you were in a great place coming up with ideas?
Of course, yeah. Well, I would stay in the car for longer, but if you're taking a long 6-hour drive, you see, the United States is vast. If I'm going from London to Manchester, I'll be like, okay, my time is, the road ran out, unless I want to go up to Glasgow. But, United States, you go from New York, Atlanta, that's 17 hours of driving, 15 hours of driving. There's going to be more road than lyrics, trust me.
And tell me the innate qualities of your voice, the instrument, which people have described as the voice of God, your baritone. How much do you think that natural instrument influenced the way that you wrote for yourself and the way that you perform?
Well, like I said, I got on the microphone to actually sit MCs down to enjoy myself at a party because I can make a cheap sound system sound good. And it says, I would point to the mic, it says, not the mic, it's like here. But I use that to my advantage, and Hank used it to our advantage when it came down to going in the studio and trying to figure out, where I should be and who should trade off on me. And therefore, Flavor's richness with his trebly angle, which has bass in it, and I have a bass but has some treble cutting in it, was a good, trade-off, almost like Bobby Bird and James Brown. It was that similar trade-off. So the songwriting style and the vocal elocution, came from, hearing strong guys on the mic like Mo D, Kool Mo D, and Melly Mel, of course, who just they nailed it. Very few mistakes, especially Kool Mo D. Very few mistakes. Matter of fact, so much a perfectionist, he couldn't take his rhymes and go like that and make equal portions of offerings.
So phrasing and flow is a very important part of developing a signature style.
Yeah, well, I never had too much of a flow, but I was more like a power rapper. So I would slam a punch home, and if I had to write a song with Flavor, I would have him slam the punch home, coming after, it was that torque of vocal tension, his high and my low, boom, boom, and that's the Public Enemy vocal style, the boom, and if, of course I'm the chief writer, so I would have to write for his part and my part and sacrifice the best part to him. But, you make all the other parts breathe too.
Can you tell me, are you led by words or music or both, or is it something else, an emotional state or a political statement that would inspire you to write about something?
It's all three. They're led by all three. Sometimes the words, sometimes the music, and then sometimes both, and sometimes with a political state. But really the thing that drives me the most to finish, which is important, is the title. If you're driven by the words, what are you going to call it? And then which leads you to finish out and write more words. If you're driven by the music, what are you going to call it to actually fill that music with words? If you see or hear something or witness something politically, what are you going to call that atmosphere? It leads you to how, it makes you truncate that whole existence down into something that will carry 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe sometimes 7 minutes.
So how often do you have the title first?
I have the title first in songwriting at least 90% of the time. I don't write a song unless I title it. And so there's been a 10% area where I've written a song and retitled it. But chances are that the thing that spurs my writing is calling it something and then filling in the blanks.
Let's talk about Man Plans, God Laughs.
We had intentions on making a night, we had intention of making a 15-minute album. We wanted to like make 8 to 10 Ramones minute-and-a-half type cuts. That was the goal. And we said, yeah, let's go for it. So in the attempts of trying to make a record very short, you know, the theme was like maybe the Box Tops. They got 1 minute, 54 seconds, and we were like, yo! But when Man Plans, God Laughs came along, Gary pulled it off. I think it's at 2 minutes and 2 minutes, whatever, and that was the theme of the whole album. That whole album is 29 minutes. We were looking to make 15-minute album, but there's some impossibilities in there when you talk about rap music, you know, proper sequence hooking and stuff like that. But we were very happy with the accomplishment of that because, you know, the ability to make short, powerful records and hip hop and rap music, I think Run DMC mastered that when they made Peter Piper and My Adidas. But that was a goal on the Plans God Laughs as a single song. And it was like, it was helped out. You know, Gary just recently lost his father that year. And we dedicated the album to him and also Flavor's mom. So it was something that was guiding us to looking at these records of having some help.
And it's obviously a great old Yiddish expression.
Yes,
Is it something that you'd known all your life?
Well, I heard that, you know, later on. I actually got it from the documentary that I did, a Sports Emmy award-winning voiceover for, and that was Julius Dr. J. Irving. And he was talking about a situation in his family where he lost his brother, and they had all these plans. And he said, well, you know, we had these plans, but man plans, God laughs. And the first time I heard it, and I took what Julius Irving said in that documentary that I did this voiceover on, and not only made a theme song, but named the whole album after that.
God damn man, man laughs at God's plan. God laughs at man's trash. Man plans, God laughs. Let it be what it is. Fight the power for the kids who don't know. You might ask yourself, figure it out, figure it out, figure it out. Bad news is bad news. The damn plan got you confused. Good news, no good news. The yellow burns, they see it as views. Am I radical? 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 Am I a pacifist? Am I scared to fight? I ain't asking you. Am I grown? Do I stand up? Am I own? Let it be. Speaking words, but no wisdom. Make them dumb. They're the plan that man made to the monkey race. What they gave to get saved, to get attention. Nowadays, it's the way they get paid, they get saved, they pray to a stage.
For the culture, do it for the youth. Do it for the culture, do it for the youth. Do it for the culture, do it for the youth. Do it for the culture, do it for the youth.
Am I radical? Am I a pacifist? Am I scared to fight? I ain't asking you. Am I grown? Do I stand up? Am I own? Be the change you wanna be. They wanna see. Let it be. Revolution, what it is. Bring the noise. 89, another summer. We to me. 89, another summer. Eat to we, me to we.
For the youth, do it for the youth. Do it for the youth. Do it for the youth. Do it for the youth.
Man plans, God laughs.
As someone who's been raising awareness of important things through music, do you think the world's a better place in any way now since you started your career?
Yeah, the world's a better place when it comes down to gadgets and technology. I love YouTube. Now, a lot of people don't like YouTube if they're creators like you, but, you know, YouTube, but I love it because it's a museum of discovery for me. I like the fact that I could get YouTube on my phone. I like the fact that I could communicate with a vast audience of people with content. just communicating with people. I'm a content and I'm a creator and I'm a songwriter. So if I come up with a great line, I use Twitter. It's the only social media that I do. I call it SockMed. Why over 50, I think you should use one social media and let everybody else handle your stuff. But Twitter is 140 characters. I feel sometimes when I'm on Twitter, I'm songwriting. Because I get it in within that 140, and I deliver a line that's profound, that carries weight, that makes you step back and say, damn, you know, he needed not to say any more. Boom. And I think it really helps songwriting if you're on Twitter. You know, you don't get kind of long-winded and expansive, and you hit it.
Do you think that hip-hop is in a healthy state at the moment?
No. Hip-hop could use more groups. Hip-hop could use more women, you know, magnified. As a matter of fact, there's more women in hip-hop today than ever before. The magnification of them has never been so terrible. Yes, we have our Nicki Minaj, and we have MIA, Mia, but there's like, especially when you talk outside the borders, waters, and orders of the United States of America, there are massive women. And we covered it on Rap Station, on Planet Earth, Planet Rap, our radio station. Every week, they have so many female artists, women artists in the mix, whether as vocalists, producers, you know, women groups. The voice is very strong as women in hip-hop. Hip-hop has something to work on from its administration point to try to magnify this importance. Matter of fact, I think the future documentaries and studies on hip-hop are going to be more female-centric than male-centric, which has hit a, you know, kind of like a wall. But there's a world, you know, and we see from Betty to Amy True, that tenure is very strong.
Do you think there's more to write about now than ever?
Of course, but then as being a musicologist, there's more music behind us than forward. That's something to think about. There's more behind us waiting for discovery than what's in front of us. We don't know what's in front of us. We have to, you know, get our hiking boots and rocket ships to go into the past of documented sound. So you might find out the future record that speaks to everybody might be a song from 50 years ago.
So most people mellow with age. I don't think you have.
Yeah, I've mellowed. You better mellow. But my mellow is different. I have good turn on and turn off switches.